Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be discussing Snowflakes Referral clinics. As you know, your embryo adoption journey wouldn't be possible without the help of fertility clinics that work with you to perform frozen embryo transfers. However, working with fertility clinic can be daunting, especially for those who have never worked with one before. So we are here to help guide you step by step through your interactions with your chosen fertility clinic. We want you to feel prepared and equipped for each encounter. Our mutual goal is to get you pregnant, so your path to success starts now. We will be discussing important topics such as what should your expectations be, what questions should you ask. After 25 years of working with clinics around the country, we've observed that not all fertility clinics are the same, and so we want to address some of the patterns we have noticed, as well as address common questions or comments that adopting parents before you have mentioned. Hello, I'm Krista. I'm the Snowflakes Adopting Parent Coordinator and the best person you should reach out to if you ever have any questions about clinics. I work with adopting families during the application and matching phases, but I also work closely with Snowflakes Referral fertility clinics, especially in the matching phase. So write down any questions you may have while listening to this video, and feel free to reach out to discuss your questions with me as well. First, we'll go over a brief background of how the Snowflakes Embryo Adoption Program came to be. So Snowflakes was created with the mission in mind to help families with remaining embryos have confidence in placing their embryos with an adopting family. Embryo adoption is relatively new and less common, but embryo donation isn't. Many fertility clinics have something called an embryo donation program, where they too match donor and adopting families. However, it is often a process where the placing family has little to no say in who the adopting family is, and it's also often anonymous in nature. Snowflakes is a life-affirming, family-empowering solution to embryo donation programs, as it not only provides an opportunity for communication, but also encourages it too. We also believe that embryos are human life and deserve the same respect and rights as a child. So that is why we follow the best practices of adoption. Children are not donated, they are adopted. And both placing families and adopting families should be assured that the process of adoption is handled with as much respect and care as a traditional adoption. Notice how there is already, though, a slight tension between the worldviews of fertility clinics and Snowflakes. Clinics are more fertility treatment minded, while Snowflakes is more adoption minded. This is something to keep in mind as we continue throughout this video. So why for referral clinics? As you know, we are an adoption agency and have no medical staff or clinic at our offices, so we rely on medical expertise and fertility clinics outside of Snowflakes for frozen embryo transfers. There are 450 plus fertility clinics in the US, so that is a lot to choose from. And we work to find the best clinics in the nation that are also open to working with a third party, aka Snowflakes. This benefits our families because it expedites the adoption process. There are many details when it comes to embryo adoption, so being familiar with how each other works and what each other's preferences or protocols are is vital for speed and success. Our long-lasting relationships help our families feel more comfortable and confident that the clinic they're going to will take care of them and see them as a priority. We know it can be daunting and an intimate experience to have a FET, and so we want you to feel comfortable knowing that many Snowflakes families have gone before you and had a great experience with that clinic. Before becoming an official referral clinic, they must meet our criteria for success. First, we must have worked with them through each stage of the adoption process. We look at how did the embryo approval process go? How about shipping? Did our families enjoy working with them? We also look for clinics that are embryo adoption friendly. Not all clinics have the expertise or experience working with a third party, And so we want to make sure that the staff are comfortable working with us, but also that they value the life of the embryos to not destroy them. Many clinics allow for discarding embryos, so we want to avoid that at all costs. In matching, we consider your preferences, the placing family's preferences, but also your clinic's preferences. And we hope that they are flexible in their requirements for what types of embryos they will accept into their practice for a transfer. Their flexibility will open up possible match options for you, but also help get more embryos adopted. So we serve families all across the world, so having referral clinics that are open to remote monitoring is also highly beneficial. Just a reminder, remote monitoring is where you would have your frozen embryo transfer at the referral fertility clinic, but then complete all other appointments, tests, or ultrasounds at a clinic near you. It allows for less travel for our families. Furthermore, we want clear and responsive medical staff, but also ones that are supportive of adopting families and their medical or adoption decisions. If you're worried about working with our referral fertility clinics, don't be. We are going to equip you with the tools and knowledge to communicate with your clinic in this video. The first step will be to call fertility clinics and speak with the Snowflakes point of contact. You should have received a list of clinics that are closest to you from your inquiry specialist, and on that list will be the point of contact. But if not, reach out to your adopting parent coordinator and they would be happy to share the information. I really want to emphasize asking questions. Try to gain as much understanding as you can of the FET process and any medical related questions you may have. It is good to compare things like costs and understand what they will be asking from you so you're not hit with any surprises down the road. And ask some questions like, what are your policies and procedures for a frozen embryo transfer? What is your fee schedule and when are payments due? Will you allow for outside monitoring during our pregnancy? How much are your embryo storage costs? And please remind them that you are working with Snowflakes. As mentioned, some clinics have their own embryo donation program or work with many third parties, so letting them know that you are adopting through Snowflakes is key. Your next step is scheduling your first appointment. So please schedule your first appointment as soon as you can. Availability for appointments can often be limited, and you must have your initial appointment before moving into matching. Therefore, schedule your appointments as soon as possible to avoid slowing down your adoption process. A pro tip to keep in mind is to ask about remote monitoring when scheduling your appointment and checking to see if there are any satellite locations where you can complete your FET prep work. Otherwise, ask your local OBGYN or fertility clinic if they are willing to complete the prep work for you. Next is your first appointment day. As mentioned, let them know you're adopting through Snowflakes and will only be using their services for the FET. They will most likely want to complete initial tests and lab work to begin the process of establishing you as a patient. Also, something to keep in mind is that some clinics, but not all, will also want the father to become a patient as well and do some testing. Another tip is to bring your initial medical screening form along to your appointment to be signed off by your doctor, and that way you can kill two birds with one stone. The form can also be signed by your regular physician or OBGYN. After your first appointment, you will probably not have as much contact with the fertility clinic until matching, so hold tight, but I would still check your communications with the clinic to see if there are any other appointments, tests, or payments needed before receiving a match. Now we're going to go over some answers to frequently asked questions from clinic staff. The referral clinic personnel may or may not be familiar with details regarding the Snowflakes program, and this is often due to frequent staff changes or specialties. And so Snowflakes works hard to keep clinics informed and up to date. But if someone reaches out to you with a question that you don't know, and that's okay, we are here to help. And just in case, here are some statements and questions that you may hear. Starting with the top left, your doctor may ask to see the embryology reports before receiving the embryos. Let them know that Snowflakes will send the embryology reports for their match consideration during the matching phase. The clinic may also require you to complete psychological evaluation. The Snowflakes home study is often accepted in lieu of the psychological evaluation because of our extensive education that covers the same guidelines that they follow. On the bottom left bubble, it says, do you need an attorney? Nope. Snowflakes creates the contract and will send it to the clinic when complete. And finally, last bubble, Snowflakes also coordinates the shipping. One more thing off your plate. And these are the most common questions. But again, reach out to your adopting parent coordinator if you need more assistance. And it can be an adjustment for many families as they begin their first interactions with their fertility clinic and doctor, especially if they've never worked with a fertility clinic before. And you may also have some questions or misconceptions about the fertility world and what it looks like. We will now go over some common misconceptions about referral clinics that we've actually heard from previous adopting families. So go ahead and take a few seconds to look some of these over, and we will go more into detail in the following slides. Something to keep in mind when working with fertility clinics is the possible lack of response. For example, some clinics structure their services in cycles, meaning they complete all of their FETs at one time or all their new patient consultations at one time, all their collections, etc. Holidays, especially around Christmas, are also a busy time for clinics, so do expect delays around the end of the year. If the clinic staff is being unresponsive, they may be in a busy season, but have every intention to serve you. Also, let our team know if you're having a hard time getting in touch with the clinic, and we will reach out as well and see what we can do for you. Some of our families are shocked by the clinic fees, and please don't let that be you. As mentioned previously, at your first appointment, ask for a complete cost breakdown and storage fees. Another misconception is that there is a single fee for the FET, but rather each embryo transfer will have an individual transfer fee. So please, again, try to have a full picture of the total costs from the beginning. Fertility clinic fees have also risen due to inflation. So check with your health insurance to see if there's any coverage or employee benefits to help cover the costs. And you can always reach out to our Snowflakes Family Resource Specialist. We can help find grants, loans, and provide fundraising ideas or answer any other questions you may have about funding. One of Nightlight's missions is that we never want money to be the reason that you don't pursue adoption. As discussed, there is a slight tension between the worldviews of fertility clinics and Snowflakes. Clinics are more fertility treatment minded, while Snowflakes is adoption minded. The Snowflakes Embryo Adoption Program is not a fertility treatment, it is an adoption. And we value each embryo's life and want to see each embryo adopted. Since Snowflakes is pro-life, some of our families are shocked to discover that medical staff we work with may not adhere to the same worldview or values. Snowflakes does work with clinics that are at least committed to not discarding embryos and doctors that are more open in their preferences, which gives more embryos an opportunity to be adopted. Do not be surprised if your doctor's overall tone, behaviors, and communication with you about embryo adoption or your embryos does not sound pro-life. If you find that it is hard to connect with your doctor because of this issue, we understand. But we also want to encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity to show kindness and build bridges with others who may have a different worldview than you. Ultimately, without fertility clinics, this program would not exist, and so we really do rely on them and thank them for their medical expertise. Even though you are working with Snowflakes, your doctor may discuss other treatment options, IVF, egg donation, or even their own embryo donation program. They're not always trying to dissuade you from using Snowflakes, but rather they are letting you know what other options you have. Ultimately, it is their goal for you to have a successful pregnancy, and it is also their job to discuss all options with you. So what do you say when they try to persuade you? Kindly decline and ask how they will be able to assist your embryo adoption journey. To reiterate again, their goal is to help you achieve pregnancy, and they want to work with you and do what's best for your health, so they are on your team. It can also be assumed that your reproductive endocrinologist will accept any set of embryos you choose to adopt. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. Each fertility clinic has its own set of preferences for the types of embryos that they're willing to accept into their facility for an FET. If an embryo set is outside of their preferences, they may not accept them. But not to worry, Snowflakes created a process to mitigate clinic rejections. We have a list of each clinic's preferences and take them into consideration as we're matching and have the doctors approve the embryos before even moving into contracts and the shipping phase. So don't worry, they won't reject your embryos on their doorstep. When the embryos arrive, they will already have been approved and ready for transfer. But also keep in mind, while Snowflakes and your doctor have the same goal in regard to pregnancy and success, we have differing worldviews. Snowflakes believes that all embryos are life and deserve an opportunity to be born, but most fertility clinics do not hold the same belief. They will reject embryos that they do not believe will be successful, and they also want you to be aware of all the risks involved. However, time and time again, Snowflakes has seen healthy babies born from all different types of embryos, even embryos that don't look successful on paper, or embryos that we've even heard embryologists say aren't even worth transferring. Yet now, beautiful children are walking on this earth because their parents gave them an opportunity. And so if you're committed to your matched family or embryos, I want to empower you to advocate for yourself and for the embryos. Your doctors still may respect your requests and complete the transfer. Also, if your referral clinic is not able to accept your embryo match, Snowflakes can help you find a clinic that will accept them or will help you find another match. In a nutshell, fertility clinic services, languages, and purposes are unique and often overwhelming. Our video today is meant to help you successfully interact with your clinic, so hold on to your notes and prepare yourself with these tools and knowledge when starting the process with your referral fertility clinic. If you're still concerned, remember that we are always available if you have questions, and we'll work with you in the clinic to make your embryo adoption journey as smooth as possible. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to your adopting parent coordinator, who is skilled and ready to guide you through these interactions. You may call the Snowflakes number at 970-578-9700 or reach out with general questions at info@snowflakes.org. Thank you so much.